Well, hello everybody, and welcome to LA Dodger Report via Netchuk Arts. Well, folks, have you heard the news today? Unfortunately, we're coming to you with bad Dodger news. And it's even worse than just a simple Dodgers lost headline. The Dodgers lost much more than a game this time. They've lost respect, prestige, possibly a player or two. Who knows? Or perhaps they've lost nothing. Time will tell. But here's the headline: Julio Urias was arrested for domestic violence for an episode that took place at the Beverly Center last night. Witnesses say, despite Urias and his female companion saying everything's cool, witnesses said everything was not cool, and Julio Urias has been accused of shoving a woman to the ground or somehow taking her or causing her to go to the ground. Now, that's the headline, and that's bad news. But what's behind that is even worse news, because a lot of us are wondering, could this have been avoided? This is, I'm going to say, directly related to some episodes that took place over the recent years involving Dodger minor league players, involving Julio Urias, and how the Dodgers downplayed, misplayed, refused to make the good play or the right play on charges of sexual violence and sexual harassment. So, where does that come from? Give credit to High Heels on the Field, who reported, let me get the author's name correct here, excuse me for a second. Jessica Kiroli, I hope I'm pronouncing her name correct. Jessica Kiroli from High Heels on the Field, Google it, look it up, wrote an article that is eye-opening. This wasn't a secret before, but she's encapsulated enough in the article there, and it's a good read and good information. What she tells about is these incidents that took place with Dodger minor league players, and how the Dodger brass either fumbled or hid on purpose or ignored on purpose and hoped it would all go away in general. Who knows what the motives were, but her reporting is very good, and I'm not going to rehash her article, but very quickly I'll tell you a couple of the things that she talked about in her article. The one that involved Julio Urias also involved James Baldwin and present burgeoning Dodger star Alex Verdugo. They were all at the spring training facility for the Dodgers in Arizona. There was a party involving a couple of adult women and a 17-year-old runaway. At that party, Julio Urias was present, but the story goes he left before the really bad things started to happen that involved sexual assault and violence. What took place there is James Baldwin was accused of taking sexual advantage of the 17-year-old when she was so drunk she could not protest. Also, what took place was the two women beat the young lady, Pictures and videos were taken, and get this, it was shared on social media. So when word of this got out, or got to the Dodgers anyway, Nick Francona, whose name plays prominent in these situations, he is the guy that either misplayed or downplayed, whatever your interpretation is going to be. But either way, he didn't do enough. Read what happened. He didn't do enough. And the Dodgers kind of let that whole thing die a slow death. The Dodgers supposedly reported it to MLB, who said the Dodgers apparently have everything under control and is being handled internally. So go figure that. What else happened? There was another Dodger minor leaguer. His name escapes me once again. Just go to Ms. Quiroli's article, and his name is there. And he was also accused of sexually assaulting a maid at one of the hotels. And that incident also didn't go very far in terms of discipline or help for the victim. Could it possibly be because the two victims were, one, a runaway, and two, a worker, a hotel worker, who, it's speculated a bit in the article, may have been an undocumented immigrant. And so, hey, two vulnerable populations are the people that were the victims. Would things have played out had it been a prominent member of an Arizona family involved? Who knows? But what we do know is that the Dodgers didn't do much about it. Now we return to the roost of violence and Julio Urias, who came up through that minor league system, who saw how those circumstances played out and saw not a lot of consequences to come from it, has now had his own brush with domestic violence. I say directly related to those past incidents, because had there been a thorough, real investigation with consequences for those who deserved it, good treatment for the victims, and some kind of responsible training for the young players to help this to not happen again, had all of that taken place, not some of it, all of it, had all of that taken place, it's very possible that what happened last night at the Beverly Center might not have happened. Things might have been very different had Urias had a different circumstance years ago after what happened in the Arizona desert. Let's keep it real here. Dodgers, you're the ones on the hook today because of inaction in the past and refusal to take responsibility for very serious accusations against ball players in your employ. Finally, perhaps the Dodgers skirted it because they were only minor league players. There's also that to be considered. They didn't consider those guys major leaguers or true members of the Dodger family, so to speak, and therefore easier to downplay. That's LA Dodger Report. We'll see you in part 2 for my fans' perspective on how I'm going to approach this situation with Verdugo and Urias in my own personal fanhood. See you next time. Peace.